What's up, homies and homiettes? It's your boy Home Boom back with another segment of the Hold Up Show. And hold up, are we about to get paid? Today we're going to be reviewing a clip from President Trump explaining that they're thinking of giving us 20 to 25% back to the American people of all the waste from government spending that they have been finding. So let's get into it.
There's even under consideration a new concept where we give 20% of the DOGE savings to American citizens and 20% goes to paying down debt, because the numbers are incredible, Elon. So many billions of dollars, billions, hundreds of billions, and we're thinking about giving 20% back to the American citizens and 20% down to pay back debt and pay down debt.
So yeah, there you have it. President Trump the other day explaining that he is proposing to give 20% of the waste spending that they're finding back to the American people, as well as another 20% to beat down the trillions and trillion dollar deficit that we have for this country. Now, I also want to go through a Newsweek article and kind of get more insight on exactly what's going on with this plan. So here we go. Doge stimulus check update: how Musk plan could compare to past payments. All right, so President Trump has said he is considering sending 20% of the money saved by the Department of Government Efficiency directly to Americans. Newsweek has contacted the White House for comment via email outside regular working hours. Why does this matter? Doge has been tasked on the direction of the president to scale back federal spending and root out supposed fraud and waste. The non-official temporary initiative has said it has already saved billions of dollars since it began its audit of government agencies, though it has been met with considerable backlash and legal action. What to know? On Wednesday at the FII Priority Summit in Miami Beach, Trump said, "There's even under consideration a new concept where we give 20% of the Doge savings to American citizens and 20% goes to paying down the debt," end quote. On Tuesday, billionaire Elon Musk, who heads Doge, wrote on X, his social media platform formerly known as Twitter, that he would check with the president regarding the proposal to send U.S. households tax refunds checks funded by savings from Doge cost-cutting campaign. Musk's comments came in response to a suggestion by James Fishback, the CEO of Arizora investment firm, to compensate American taxpayers for the egregious misuse and abuse of their hard-earned tax dollars that Doge has uncovered. In a 4-page proposal, Fishback said sending checks of $5,000 directly to American taxpayers would restore public trust between taxpayers and their government, making good on this social contract and increasing tax morale, end quote. As you can see, there's the post on X by Mr. James Fishback with his proposal. Musk has previously said Doge's goal is to cut $2 trillion from the federal budget, according to Fishback's proposal. After Doge scheduled sunset in July 2026, all tax-paying households would receive a tax refund check derived by taking 20% of Doge's savings. Fishback said only working American taxpayers should receive the Doge dividend, adding that the prospect of a $5,000 Doge dividend in 2026 will incentivize many to re-enter the workforce in 2025 in order to be eligible for the payment. Hold on, I don't like that, because if they've been abusing and misusing our tax money for all our lives, why do I now have to now go to work for you on the books, or however you want to carve it up, or accept me being a quote unquote tax paying citizen, if I learned years ago, or I learned within the last few years, that my tax money was being misused, and I decided to operate outside of the realm of being liable to pay taxes in a traditional manner? Why should I now have to go back to paying you taxes that you were already misusing for all my life to just be eligible for this little $5,000? Like, I don't like that. Like, if you are an American citizen, whether you're working or not, whether you paid a tax in your life or not, because you probably have been affected by taxes one way or another in your life, you should be receiving these dividends of this misuse and abuse funds throughout our life. Like, and it shouldn't just be no one-time $5,000 check. They've been abusing and misusing our tax money for decades. So something has to be figured out on that end as well. On Wednesday, Reuters reported that Fishback was in touch with the Trump administration over his proposal. Checks being sent to every tax-paying household in the U.S. would be a first since coronavirus-era stimulus checks, which began during the tail end of Trump's first administration. Yeah, because we all got coronavirus sprayed on us, allegedly. You know, we all got that. We all have to face the brunt of whatever the government is doing to us, whether they want to deem that we pay taxes or not. So, where's the COVID relief fund for us being affected by a gain of function thing that was headed and funded with our tax money by people that were not elected by us? Where's that at? Like, are you going to say only tax-paying citizens can get money from being infected or being, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, I don't like that portion of it. Okay, previous stimulus checks. During Trump's first term, the government issued 2 rounds of COVID-related stimulus checks. In March 2020, the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Securities Act provided economic impact payments of up to $1,200 per adult for eligible individuals and $500 per qualifying child under age 17. These amounts were reduced for taxpayers who earn more than $75,000 per year. In December 2020, as part of the Consolidated Appropriations Act 2021, an additional $600 payment went out to eligible individuals. In 2022, the Federal Reserve Board reported that the fiscal stimulus, which was distributed to households across the country, contributed to an increase in inflation of about 2.5 percent points. Our findings suggest that fiscal stimulus boosted the consumption of goods without any noticeable impact on production, increasing excess demand pressures in good markets. The report said, as a result, fiscal support contributed to price tensions. Preston Brashers, a research fellow for tax policy at the conservative think tank The Heritage Foundation, wrote on X, "Love what Doge is doing, but this is a bad idea. There's no need to send dividend checks. The dividend we get from slashing spending is that it brings inflation into check, but if the government sends out stimmy checks, inflation will come back with a vengeance." Fishback said in his proposal that the Doge checks would not be inflationary, as they would be exclusively funded with Doge-driven savings, unlike COVID stimulus checks, which were deficit funded. He also said the dividends would be sent only to tax-paying households who have demonstrated propensity to save, not spend the incremental dollar received. So now you're trying to give us money and tell us that, oh, we only want to give it to the people that we believe will save it and not cause inflation. Like, this is just a theory that this guy Fishback is having, and I hope some more qualified people, whether they deem it a good idea or not, revamp some of the thoughts in his proposal. Tax-paying households are more likely to save, not spend. A transfer payment like the Doge dividend as consumption is a lower share of their income, he said, adding, there is nothing inflationary about paying off debt, saving for emergencies, or investing in college or retirement. In fact, debt pay downs are actually deflationary. What people are saying about this proposal. Fishback said in his proposal, when a breach of this magnitude happens in the private sector, the counterparty at minimum refunds the customer since they failed to deliver what was promised. It's high time for the federal government to do the same and refund money back to taxpayers given what Doge has uncovered. I completely agree with that statement. But not only tax-paying Americans, period. Because at one point or another, taxes have affected our lives, whether they were while they were being misused. Inflation has affected everyone's life. We're all out here paying more for the same thing or less. So I don't like everything he has to say about the proposal. Elon Musk wrote on X, obviously the president is the commander-in-chief, so this is entirely up to him. Alex Bean, a financial literacy instructor for the University of Tennessee at Martin, previously told Newsweek, while a future stimulus check isn't impossible and certainly could be seen as goodwill gesture to show taxpayers of all the supposed money that's been saved with these cuts in aid as financial support during high inflationary times, the unfortunate reality is odds of checks being sent out are fairly low. Even with the potential savings of recent cuts, stimulus checks are an incredibly expensive endeavor for a government already deeply in debt and facing no pandemic level emergency to undertake. I would expect legislators will hold out hope of new proposals like tax cuts and less restriction on some government benefit programs as a way to steer eyes away from stimulus checks being the sole way to help Americans. Now, I don't know about that statement either, because when you say tax cuts, less restriction, things of that nature, and government benefit programs, those programs don't reach where I live. I don't see or feel the effects of those tax cuts or less restrictive behaviors. I don't feel it, but I do feel that inflation, or I do feel when that stimulus check hits my account and I'm able to do more than I was before. So, don't like what you have to say, Mr. Alex Bean. Now, what happens next? Fishback's proposal remains in its early stages and will require congressional approval before any checks are issued. According to the proposal, if approved, the payments would come to American households in 2026. So we would even have to wait a whole year to even feel the effects of this proposal. I'm not feeling that. It didn't take a year for them to take the money. It shouldn't take a year for them to give it back. It didn't take a year for them to discover that they've been misusing and abusing the spending of this money. So it should not take them that long to give it back. Period. So, yes, I would like your thoughts, comments, like, subscribe, share. Do you agree with them giving the American people back 20% of all the waste spending that they have found, as well as we've heard the rumblings of the External Revenue Service where America goes and actually gets money for the American citizens and starts to pay us for the things that we are being taxed for that are imported into our country, and also give us a piece of what is being exported to other countries that is bringing back a surplus. So more to come. Just let me know what you think. It's Hoom Boom. This is the Hold Up Show. And is it time to get paid back from this government, back from this corrupt system or flawed system that has been putting its foot on the necks of Americans for the longest? Is it time to lift it up, lift it off our necks, put it on the other country's necks, and let us finally reap the benefits of this supposedly being the greatest country in the world? Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours. Boom, boom. Peace.